welcome to GATEtv. You join me for the latest episode of Unlocking the Gate, and I'm really pleased to be joined by, I think we can call him a firm fan favourite. He's played over 100 times for Margate in the heart of our defence. It is Liam Friend. Liam, firstly, how are you? How is lockdown life treating you?
Yeah, pretty good. Safe and well, things like that, all going okay. So nothing to complain about other than the normal, not seeing family and friends and no football. But yeah, all good this end.
And I don't think any of us could have foreseen back in the end of October, you know, that really great victory on the road, and then we were meant to be playing at home, of course, on the Tuesday evening. I think maybe we all thought maybe a month suspension. I don't think any of the players' management could have foreseen at this point in 2021 that we wouldn't have been playing at Hartsdown Park.
No, I think it was a 4-week initially, wasn't it? And I think everyone thought it would have been a 4-week break, and it was just kind of a little pause just to sort of ease people's worries and things like that about the coronavirus. But yeah, it seems to be never ending, doesn't it? So hopefully we get a green light to go as soon as possible. But yeah, when that will be, we don't know, do we?
No, we don't. But I think one thing's for sure, we will all absolutely appreciate every game. I think I was one of those people before with the Velocity Trophy on a Tuesday night or the Kent Senior Cup that would be like, oh, do we really need this game? I think universally now we are going to appreciate them all. And the whole purpose of this series on YouTube is to give supporters a bit of an opportunity to learn about people behind the scenes, players and so on. So if we take it right back to the start of your career, because you've enjoyed a really good long career, where did your passion for football start in the first place?
I think watching my dad, really. He played for some Kent League teams and things like that, and I just used to probably wanted to get me out of the house away from my mum or something like that, or separate me from my brother. So I used to go and watch my dad quite a lot for Canterbury, and I remember them having a dog track around the ground there. It's not, I don't think it's there anymore, the ground or the dog track, but I think it might be a Sainsbury's. But we used to, I used to go and watch him and sort of kick my football on the side of the pitch and watch him play poorly. I think he'll be pleased for me to sort of mention that he was rubbish most of the times I watched him, never scored, a bit like me really. But yeah, that's where I kind of, my first interest in football come from, I think. Just went from there. I mean, he played of Sunday mornings and things till he was into his 50s, but sometimes when I'm playing, I do feel that old, but obviously I'm not quite there yet. So
obviously your dad was a huge influence on your career. Can you remember sort of when you first began to take it a little bit more seriously, as in you obviously played a lot for Folkestone, and we'll touch on that, of course, but when you thought, actually, no, I'm pretty decent at this, and I want to take it seriously?
I've never really struggled with confidence. So I've always thought I was pretty good, I think, even when I first started playing. But I think when I was in the teenage years and youth team, and I was playing, I'm originally from Dover, but I went to Folkestone's youth team to sort of mid to late teens because of a pathway perhaps to get into the first team there, or reserves, or I don't know how it worked. But yeah, I think that was when I kind of had to take it a little bit more seriously, because you're not just playing with your friends and you're sort of going into a new team, which I suppose stood me in good stead for a bit later on in your life when you have new teammates regularly and move to a new team, etc. But I think sort of mid-teens is when the football changes from kids football to it mimics sort of men's football a little bit as the teen years sort of push into the later teens. And then I think that's, going off subject a bit, that's probably where youth football, the best people for producing youth players are the ones that are able to get them into adult type football as quickly as possible, and that's people with most success in that. So I think that helped me going to Folkestone and I think I played for the reserves at sort of 15, playing again in Kent. It used to be called Kent 2 or Kent League 2 or something like that, and you play against sort of scary old men and you're sort of 15, and yeah, that was an eye-opener and an interesting time really. But I loved it. I'm sure I've whinged a few times on a Saturday afternoon when I was a bit sore after being elbowed or bit of aggression that came out from one of the senior players I was playing against. But yeah, that was the sort of a bit of the changeover from kicking around with your mates and having fun to probably having to take it a bit more seriously.
And I did want to ask you a little bit about some youth development. I know away from Margate and playing, that's something you are quite passionate about, and you do coaching outside of your time playing. But do you think that foundation in youth development, it obviously did hold you in good stead, because you went on to play over 550 times at Folkestone? And tell us a bit about that. Obviously, this is a Margate YouTube channel and they're a local rival, but people will be wanting to know about that chapter in your life and your successes while you were there.
I think, sort of going back to the point I just made, it's great to sort of teach people the technical side of football, and obviously it's very, very, very important. And the amount of coaching and the amount of coaching aids and assistances that are out there now to help people put on good sessions and things like that. But I think one of the biggest influences for me as a teenager was a coach called Mickey Dix, who, even now, I wouldn't necessarily say he was the most technical coach, and he ended up being on sort of Folkestone's first team's management team and things. But he taught you the basics of that you needed. That it's all, like I said, it's all in good having the technical abilities, but if you can't do the other basics, working hard, getting yourself fit, being tough, just getting on with it, basically, you're not going to be able to show what technical ability you do have, because the game will pass you by. And I think I played with a lot of people over my life where they've come on loan from an academy, say, or from an under-23 now, they're called, and under-18s of league clubs. And they've obviously been taught the technical side of thing and that side, and there's no doubting that part of their ability, but it's their sort of effectiveness and their desire maybe and other things that you need that they don't quite have. And it's the reason why they potentially, when they go back to their club after being on loan with a Folkestone, a Margate, etc., they don't necessarily push on because they haven't got that basic base, in them. But I mean, if you look, I've been fortunate enough to play for some good managers, and you look at sort of Cugs at Folkestone and now Jay at Margate. Both have had, obviously, a lot of success in management, but both put equal importance on the technical side and the tactical side of the game as the importance of being a man, being a good teammate, being aggressive in the right way, obviously, and being fit. Because there's no point being the best. You can do this and that with a football, but if you can't influence the game at all, then obviously you're no good to those managers, are you? So, and
interesting that both of those that you mentioned there do really focus on youth development. Jay specifically talks a lot about it at Hartstown Park, how important it is for that player pathway. And you were Mr. Folkestone, I suppose. You played so many times, and then you made the move to Margate. What was it at that time in your career that enticed you to start a new chapter at Hartstown Park?
I think the progression that was sort of put to me, or what was the ambition, I suppose, of Margate was what made me want to come. The other thing as well was I just had it in my mind for my whole career that I didn't want to just play for the same club for the whole time. I didn't want to ever leave just for the sake of leaving and sign for a club that weren't progressive or weren't as good as Folkestone were or something like that. But at the same time, I sort of knew that I didn't want to just play for one club for my whole career. Hopefully, once I'm too old to keep running around or walking around, whatever, depends who you speak to, I'd like to sort of stay in the game in some capacity and things like that. And I think that it will stand me in better stead to have played for more than one club whenever that comes about. Whereas if I had only played for one club, I would have only known how that club works. Whereas now with the experience of different clubs and how they work and the right things to do, and also you can also pick out the wrong things to do in certain situations and things. So that, if that's like I say, that's something I would like to do once I stop playing. So I think that was part of it as well. And I think it doesn't really happen that much in football, people staying at clubs for such a long time, but it's sort of a strange, it's weird sort of playing. Looking back now, I can't believe that I played there for so long. And I used to, when people used to say, "Oh, you've been there for that long," I used to go, "Yeah, but why not?" Whereas now I think to myself, "Yeah, that was a long time." But then clubs don't. For the 12 years I was there, I had the same manager, near enough to, the same centre back partner for 12 years, and things like that.
Really?
So
Literally the same centre back partner. That is so unusual.
Yeah, Frankie Chappell. Me and him. I think I was in the team the year before him, so I had 1 year without him, and then he came to us from Gillingham. Got released from Gillingham, and then from the second season on, for not 11 seasons. No, what would I mean? 19. So 10 seasons. 10 seasons with him, and just having the same lad. And then he left in the summer that I left as well. So perhaps it was meant to be. Sort of, couldn't live without him. Couldn't live without each other. Maybe, I don't know. But to be honest, the Folkestone team I played at, there were some changes, but there was, for a lot of that period, there was a lot of stability and a lot of the same players. So it wasn't necessarily the person right next to me, but played with some players there that even 5 years I played with some of them for, and things like that, which compared to playing with someone for 10, it's not a lot. But in this, in most people's non-league or footballing times, it's very unusual to play with someone solidly for 5 years. And I could sort of name 8 or 9 players probably that I played with for at least 4 or 5 years, if not more, through that time, which I think was part of the strength of the team. That helps, having that continuity. But it was very unusual to happen again at other clubs, but you never know.
No, it's really interesting because, again, what COVID has thrown up is the importance of being sustainable on and off the pitch. But also, one of the things that I can't help, sympathising with you and the guys, is that this is your playing career that you're missing out on slightly. So I guess it does reiterate the point that, careers are short, and for you making that move to Margate just to go and see what life was like at another club was obviously, a very fair and valid reason to make the move. And we're grateful that you did, and you've obviously liked it. You've stayed around. You've played over 100 times as captain the club, won awards. I know your confidence is high, so you don't need me to reiterate them all. But what is it that you've loved most about being a Margate player?
I don't know, because like I say, it was so different to start with, being at a new team. So that I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the change. I enjoyed having. I think I played against a couple of the players, but I think when I first signed, I think other than Rojo and Tom Winter, sort of a little bit, not really. I didn't really know him massively. I didn't really know any of the players, so that was quite interesting to sort of know. Whereas when I was at Folkestone, obviously a lot of the players I'd known for a long time, and then even when there was a new person come in as the captain, it was kind of, I wasn't having to put myself out at all, because I was already sort of there, and it was them coming into us and our area sort of thing, wasn't it? But which I enjoyed that aspect of things, and made some good friends in each team I've played in. But I think just trying to impress new management, trying to impress new teammates, like I just said, and trying to impress new fans, really. It's not the be all and end all, and obviously you can't take criticism or praise too highly. You've got, if someone tells you you're good, you can't think that you're a world beater. And if someone says that your clearances often go off the pitch, you shouldn't take it to heart. You should try and, do it that way. But I think just the change, like I say, just having new people to impress probably helped me, because I've always been quite a disciplined player and consistent player anyway. But whoever you are, and however consistent and disciplined you try to be, I'm sure that if you play for the same manager for that long, there is going to be another percent that you can raise yourself by playing for new managers after that period, isn't there? So I think that side of things, just proving a point, maybe. Proving a point to sort of a new club, and new players, new managers, new fans. Really, I'd say was the biggest thing.
And you've been involved, obviously, with the club for the last couple of seasons in an Isthmian league that each year has been so competitive, and anyone can beat anyone at this level. It's a bit of a cliche, but it's true. If you were to pick out a performance that you really enjoyed as a Margate player, is there a game that particularly springs to mind? Because again, sometimes people might think, oh, it's the easier wins, but sometimes it's those kind of narrower games, or again, something that us as supporters and people on the outside, we might not be privy to why that win felt especially good, or that last minute equaliser or something.
It's quite hard because I've got quite a good memory for these sort of things. I mean, if you speak to some players, they can't remember who they played last week and things. It sort of all goes into one. But I don't tend to dwell really or look back too much. I mean, I do remember my first season playing for Margate. We played Billericay away when they had sort of one of the biggest budgets in non-league, I think. And they had this player and that player that dropped down a level or 2 levels or 3 levels, and sometimes. And we went away to Billericay, and we'd had to get. I think Pidge was injured, so we'd got a goalie in on loan. I think it might have been his first game. A couple of injuries, and we were brilliant. And it was just one of them games where, I'm sure if he was probably a technical midfielder or something, they might not remember it because the pitch was boggy and things like that. But it was playing against a guy called, I think his name's Adam Cunnington, who was a big old boy. And I remember Jermaine Pennant played. And I think
at half time, if I remember correctly, which is
because he was on my side. He was on my side. So he was scared, I think. But yeah, even like stuff like that. Obviously, I don't think that's true. But it's nice to be able to sort of have a laugh and a joke about, and naming a name like that is quite good, I suppose. But yeah, I think that, going back to the question, that game was just a real good team performance against a team that they were good. They had some good players and they were good, and it was nice to. I think ever since I've come to Margate, we've always been seen as a bigger fish, even if we haven't been necessarily doing so well in the league. And so it was quite nice to probably be an underdog for a day, and I think, I don't know, yeah, it's a weird, obviously, because Margate's such a big club and has a history of being in the Conference South and the Conference National and things like that. You play a lot of games where even if you're playing a team that are above you in the table, they tend to sort of try and shut up shop against you and things like that. And it's strange how teams, we're seen as a team, I suppose. But yeah, they that league, I think that it was clear that I think it was Billericay and maybe Dulwich were the two sort of clear best teams. And I think both games against Billericay and games against Dulwich were probably, in recent memory, I can't really remember too many. It's been too long since we actually last played, let alone since the other.
We'd take a 0-0 against anyone on like a blustery, windy day at Hartstown Park just to go play some football. But I think you're right, it's really interesting about the mentality of a club, like you say, of Margate, kind of its stature within the Isthmian League, the way that teams set up. And one of the memories that I have and that I really enjoyed, that supporters might not probably even remember, but it's when we went away to Bath. Do you remember? It was a trophy, and it was Tuesday, and everyone had to take the day off to go up, and it was freezing cold. I think it was a 0-0, wasn't it? I don't think
it was. Yeah,
but it was just one of those games on the sideline you were so proud to watch because it was just an absolute battle. And then they came back to our place and it carried on. It was such a good game, and I just absolutely missed that buzz. And you did mention win, lose, draw, that's the main thing, but football, it's a big part of our lives, and sometimes it is there to kind of just have a bit of fun. And I know normally if there's ever an away day or something and there's some commotion going on, you're normally quite near the scene. Can you maybe share some away day journey, something that's suitable for YouTube, your highlight from being a Margate player that are perhaps more off the field than on, that are, like I say, they're appropriate as you can possibly make them?
Anything involving Winter and Roger on a coach is not family friendly, so we won't go into those sort of things. But yeah, if you're just talking coach journey, I think people who have never sort of experienced that side of it, so maybe haven't played sport at a certain level that they've got coaches. There isn't anything better than winning a game or drawing a game, depending if that's a good result or not, and then being on the coach with a couple of lemonades with your mates for however long it would be, and the music's playing, and if someone's got to sing a song because of a bad training performance or something like that, there's all, it is good. I mean, now times have changed. I sound like a right old fart now, but we've even got a PlayStation on the coach, just a portable one now that Cess brings. So it's back in the day, it used to be card schools and stuff like that, but now it's now we've got a portable PlayStation that comes on, which is pretty good. It's nice. There's a lot of jibes given to each other during that. There's a couple of bad players in the Margate team, that's for sure. You'd think these young'uns would be pretty good, but they're not. Yeah, so much. No. You said you're going to speak to Swifty soon, didn't you? So he's a much better centre half than he is a FIFA player, that's for sure.
Oh, I'll have to invest. I'm making a note to myself there to investigate that a bit further. And looking ahead to the future, trying to be a bit more optimistic. We don't know what's going on with the 2020-21 campaign, but we do hope, at least when there is a fresh season, hopefully it's one that we can complete. Have you taken anything away? You've probably never had a point in your adult life where you've had this absence of football. Do you think when it gets back to playing, you will have certain things as a player that you will appreciate more after going through this?
I miss every aspect of football. I'm one of the few people that likes training. I live in Dover, so everywhere's a long journey for me, other than the driving to and from places. That's the only thing I won't miss. But I like training. I like away journeys, home, playing the game, having a beer after the game. I mean, I've been quite lucky throughout my career that I've only missed sort of 5 games through injury in 12, 13 years. So I've never had a period out the team. Like I say, I think I missed 3 games once, and that was the longest I've ever missed. That was at Folkestone, I think. And other than that, I've missed the odd one here and there. Accumulated some bookings and missed a game once or twice, but hardly missed any games ever. So not playing in the first lockdown was tough, and then sort of coming back was great, and we got back into it, and then had another one. It was only meant to be a short break, so it was sort of got your head around that a little bit. But you sort of made a point earlier about how short your playing career is, and I am definitely aware of my age. I still think I'm capable and things like that, but I hope that we can get back as soon as possible, because you can't, however fit you keep yourself, and however much faith a manager's got in them to pick you, there is obviously time catches up with everyone, don't they? So I'm desperate to get back. I'm sure all the players are of all the teams, but there isn't anything sort of other than, like I say, sitting in roadworks and things like that on the way back from a midweek game. But I think everyone would take that at the moment. They'd take all the M20 and the M2 being shut at the same time if it meant getting a few more games put on. But hopefully it won't be long. And
quickly looking ahead to the future, you coach, you do a lot around youth player development, and you mentioned it earlier that you want to stay involved in the game. Is management something that you can see yourself doing after your playing days?
I think so. I don't really, like I said, I don't look too far back, and I don't really look too far forward in regards to sort of this is going to happen, and I want this to happen, because I think you could end up getting sort of too hung up on it. But like I say, I love my football. I love Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday. As always, since I've been an adult, those have been the days that I've been out the house and doing those things. So I don't ever want it to stop whenever in any aspect. So I don't think I'd make a very good physio. So I have to be a manager or a coach or a scout, I think. So there we go.
And how are all the boys? I assume you've got your WhatsApp groups and stuff like that. Are you still keeping in touch with everyone?
They sort of ping into and from and things like that. So it's just everyone. I think everyone's in the same boat. There's not really much to talk about because no one's really doing a lot, is there? And every time there's an announcement or a rumor that this might happen, then obviously it all picks up again, and then you have a bit of a lull when it doesn't look to be anything coming out again. So there's a few people who they say they're not missing it, but I think they might be trying to be a bit too cool for school, whatever they call it. So there's, I don't believe them. I think they're missing it as much as I am. So yeah.
Yeah, and I know that supporters certainly are for sure. So before we round off, I've got a few more kind of quick fire style questions for you, mainly quizzing you about your teammates, to be honest. So let's start with this one. Who's the best trainer at the club?
I'm going to go with Ports.
Okay, Jay Porter, cool. And this is another question that's not so much about your teammates, but would you rather a 5-0 victory or a last-minute winner in a game?
Last-minute victory.
Oh, see, I was going to say 5-0 for the clean sheet, but there we go.
Yeah.
And what's your ideal five-a-side team from the current Margate squad? You can I might let you have a few past ones in there because I know you've got a few loyalties that you're going to have to keep.
Yeah, but my loyalties to my friends, I don't think they're very good footballers, the ones from the past, so that's all right. You haven't got to worry about that. So what 5 players? Am I picking myself or not?
Well, yeah, go on then. You would have to be the captain, wouldn't you, of your own five-a-side team?
No, Swifty's captain. So I'll go with 5. No, I can't pick Swifty, actually. Can't pick Swifty. I'm going to go with... the goalie picks himself, so that's all right. Ports, Cess, but Cess not a defender. Cess is a midfielder because he can't defend. And then what do I need? 2 more. Norman up top, and 1 more in midfield will be. I'll pick Preza because he whinges like anything anyway, and if I don't pick him, he'll whinge more, won't he? So, yeah, I'll pick Prez. That's a good team, that is.
Decent team. And who fancies himself as the team joker in the Margate squad?
I think Noel thinks he's funny, but he's not. He's just I'm not going to use any words that I'm not allowed to use. I don't know. I think there's quite a few of them, really. Everyone's got their own sort of humour and different things. Ports' head makes me laugh quite a lot, but I'm not sure if that's being a joke or just his sort of the look of it. That it's the biggest head I've ever seen. But yeah, there's a few. To be honest, yeah, we've got some funny people in that team. Coyley's funny. Preza. I'm laughing at Preza because he's whinging normally, but it's quite good. Yeah. To be honest, I've forgotten about how funny or not funny they were. I haven't seen them in so long.
Oh God, I know. Tell me about it. And if you
Freddie's quite annoying. He's like a little brother to people. He just whinges and nags people and winds people up all the time. So that's quite funny. I've got quite a dry sense of humour, so it's probably not the same. I don't find things funny that the others do. So yeah.
Right, next question. If you had to pick one song that reminds you of your career at Margate, what would it be?
Yeah, music is not my area, as everyone can clarify. Because when we have to pick a song, mine quickly gets taken off. There was. I wouldn't even know what it's called, to be honest. There was one that Sess used to play all the time. I wouldn't even know what it's called, to be honest. Try and think. Can't pick Chaz and Dave down in Margate. That's probably the best one. But yeah, no, you're asking the wrong person on the music. I wouldn't. I know the word. I can probably sing them, but I can't say the words. But we'll save that for another video, I think, rather than me singing songs down the thing.
Well, you say that. What is the best performance of an initiation song you've seen from a Margate player?
Toby Show Shilver, Harlow away did. It was excellent. It was like there was a band playing at the same time. He was like throwing his voice, dropping it. He had a hat. He had a hat as a prop. I don't know where that came from. That was a good one. Norman did. He was the last one to do one, and he forgot the words. I like to give him a bit of stick about that. I missed Sess's one, so I want to see Sess sing. Swifty's was good, actually. He did one. I remember his one. He came out with. It was a bit sort of. It was a bit like a rap, really, and I wasn't expecting it. But there's been, we do quite a lot because it's worst trainer or a new player each time and things like that. So there always seems to be someone singing. Logie, the fitness coach, his was horrendous. His was probably the worst. His was the worst one I've ever seen in football at all. It was awful because he was like really proud of himself, as if he was giving us a performance, and it was terrible. It was Ed Sheeran. It was just dreadful.
Well, that's a hard one to try and pull off at the best of times. What's your initiation song then?
I think the last time I sung Wonderwall, because that's safe, isn't it? A bit like me.
There we go. And if you, it's one of the trickier questions. If you had to isolate with one of your teammates, which teammate would you pick? And if there was one player that you just absolutely, under no circumstances, could isolate with, which player would it be?
So I would pick Cess or Ports to isolate with. I'll get on probably better with Cess than I do Ports, but I'd like to just see his head daily, like just around the house and things, to be just keep my spirits up when you have them days that you're a bit down and things like that. But yeah, Cess or Ports. I'll go with Ports because of the head. And Owen probably, because I like my food, and I think if I was with him, he'd eat it all. So I don't want to have Owen in there. It'd steal all my grub, and I'm quite a big eater myself. So
there we go. There's some very insightful answers there. My final question for you: out of the 4 kits that are waiting to be worn, which is your favourite design and why?
I'm traditional, so the blue home kit. I like that. Also, I don't think I could ever get away with wearing pink anything. So we can't have that one. But yeah, I'm going to go with the home kit because I think it's they've done quite a good job of giving something a new touch and something original as well. It's sort of it's new, but it's traditional to the history of the kit as well. So it's quite a good job.
And you warm up top as well. So we're going to have until you get a game to wear this.
Yeah, I didn't know we had to come in club colours, so I do apologise.
No, I like to make an effort now. This bit of kit's out for people to buy. So I just can't wait to be back at Hartstown Park, to be honest with you, and just to see the team back in action again. Hopefully it won't be.
Hopefully it won't be long, yeah.
Well, Liam, thank you so much for giving up your time to appear on the channel and on this episode. Hopefully, like I say, we'll be seeing you back at Hartstown Park soon. And thank you for tuning in. Do make sure that you subscribe to GATEtv so you are the first to know when one of our latest episodes drops on this channel. Until then, though, take